My name is Gabriel DeVogus, and I'm the Section 3 Coordinator for the Housing Authority for the City of Milwaukee. And I would like to thank you all for coming to our contractor fair today. Even I know we started out with a little bit of rain, so it's supposed to be a little bit of sunshine by the time we get to this afternoon. So I appreciate you all coming out for the support. Today I'll be doing a brief overview of Section 3, EBE, and how it relates to yourselves, both as contractors or as low-income residents or low-income to very low-income residents. So we'll start with a little chapter and verse, and after that, bear with me, and then I'll start to kind of explain things a little more transparent towards the end. But first, we'll get through the initial scripture. First off, as you can see here, this is the mission for our housing authority. The mission of the housing authority for the city of Milwaukee is to foster strong, resilient, and inclusive communities by providing a continuum of high-quality housing options that support self-sufficiency, good quality of life, and the opportunity to thrive. And then as you see, we have one of our developments, Hillside, pictured there circa 1959, just to kind of show how far we've come as a public housing authority. So, what is Section 3? We'll start with that. So, pay no attention to that, I figured just to make sure you're awake. So, under Section 3 of the HUD Act of 1968, wherever HUD financial assistance is expended for housing or community development to the greatest extent feasible, economic opportunities will be given to Section 3 residents and businesses in that area. It is a means by which HUD fosters local economic development, neighborhood economic improvement, and individual self-sufficiency. Section 3 is the legal basis for providing jobs for residents and awarding contracts to businesses in areas receiving certain types of HUD financial assistance. And then that comes directly off HUD's website. And if you're looking for additional information, you can definitely go there to check that out. Fun fact, created as parts of the HUD Act of 1968, the Civil Rights Act, was signed into law by President Lyndon B. Johnson, and the regulation is located at 24 CFR Part 135 of this. The Section 3 policy and purpose. Congress established the Section 3 policy to guarantee that employment and other economic opportunities created by federal financial assistance for housing and community development programs should, if possible, be directed towards low and very low income persons. Keep in mind of that definition there, particularly those who are recipients of government assistance for housing. So Section 3, not to be confused with Section 8, Section 3 deals with the low income portion of it. Also, please note Section 3 is a race and gender neutral program. So just pointing that out there because we will be touching on some race and gender specific programs towards the end. So remember, you have to be a Section 3 resident first, and then we also deal with businesses. So we'll start with the resident portion of it. Section 3 residents are either public housing residents or low to very low income persons who live in metropolitan area or non-metropolitan county where a HUD-assisted project for housing or community development is located. We define low income as 80% or below of the median income of that area. And we define very low income as 50% or below of that median income. So just keep that in mind. The median income for Milwaukee County, which includes the city of Milwaukee, can be found there, and our current median income is $55,322. So keep that in mind. That's a rather large number when it comes to dealing with how much someone makes. Now, we'll look at our 2018 resident income levels. So first off, in order to be considered a Section 3 resident, so remember, you have to be public housing first. If you do not live in public housing, you have to meet the low or very low income threshold. So currently, this is what we have. For a household person of one, you can make $43,300 a year and still be considered a Section 3 resident. All right? And if the threshold goes up as we add more people to that household, and as you can see with this middle area around 68,000 before, let's say the average person has about 3 people in the household, $55,700 a year is still a very nice take-home pay to support a family. But it just goes to show you that a lot of people qualify as Section 3. What is Section 3? What is a Section 3 business, and what types of economic opportunities are available under Section 3? So, to qualify as a Section 3 business, you must meet these qualifications here. That 51% of your business is owned by Section 3 residents. That means that, going back to that low income portion, 51% of your business, you meet that income threshold, but you operate a business yourself, you are considered Section 3, as long as you fall under our income guidelines on the previous slide. Or your permanent or full-time employees include persons at 30% whom are currently Section 3 residents, going back. So you may not qualify yourself, but let's say 30% of your staff falls within those income guidelines. Because of that, or they fall within 3 years of your first date of employment, you are a Section 3 business concern and you're considered Section 3. All right? The third way that you can provide economic evidence of a commitment to subcontract in excess of 25%, meaning that you're awarded, let's say you have a concrete contract and you're doing concrete, but you need to order ready mix. And you know that buying ready mix concrete is going to be 50% of the job. It's just that. So when you deal with that, you subcontract that out to your ready mix person who you have 50%. You may not qualify, but because you subcontracted a portion of that out in excess of 25%, that makes the whole contract a Section 3 contract. All right, please note, all right, let me just throw that in here. Section 3 is triggered when you hire or subcontract. All right, so you trigger Section 3 with hiring or subcontracting. Some types of opportunities that come from that are both job training, employment, and contracts. And then I'll touch on that a little bit more. So some of the things we contract for. There'll be administrative management, various things of accounting, payroll, research, bookkeeping. So it's not just construction, services, appliance repair, marketing, carpet installation, janitorial, photography, construction, as you see, architecture, cement, drywall, demolition, bricklaying, electrical, and elevator. And so these are just some of the things that, in essence, that we do. Who will award these opportunities? So recipients of HUD financial assistance and their contractors and subcontractors are required to provide economic opportunities to the greatest extent feasible, consistent with existing federal, state, local law and regulations. All that translates into the Housing Authority. Because we receive federal funds and we contract and we expend these federal funds, we'll be awarding these opportunities. For training and employment, let me show you how the benefits of that. So if you are Section 3, if you are a person living in public and assisted housing, you're eligible for these training and employment opportunities. And these is what we call our 4-tier system. So it first deals with people living in public and assisted housing. Then secondly, our second tier is people in areas where we expend HUD financial assistance, places where we use HUD financial dollars to build and improve the community. Third is our HUD Youth Build program, which is a cohort of basically we do our own job training. It's basically a way for HUD to basically provide ways for us to train residents and provide a cohort of our own so we can use them as a better marketing tool and get these qualified individuals out into the community. And then homeless people, because we're looking to benefit those who are low and very low income. Okay, we're looking to expend financial assistance where it is needed, so to the greatest extent feasible. So that's a big thing here, that's a repetitive thing. For contracting, businesses, as I stated, that 51%, you subcontract out 25% or 30% of your staff, all of that, you meet that definition of Section 3, you become a Section 3 business concern. Real briefly, as you see, we have some computers set up back here. We have our Section 3 databases. We use 2 web portals to connect low-income individuals and businesses to opportunities for employment and contracting. These are our businesses and resident registries. First, our resident registry. You're able to actually utilize and self-certify. Section 3 is a self-certification, so unlike other entities, you are able to certify yourself. We don't require you to submit your whole life in paper form to us. Prior to you doing it, you more so just sign off and self-certify. This is currently where I'm at, these are my income levels, and this is what I am. So we have this portal available for our residents in the community to come in, sign up, search jobs, register for jobs, and that way we constantly are able to keep track of who's looking for need. We're looking to constantly look and utilize our database and see who we're looking to utilize for these various job opportunities and contracting opportunities. Our second thing is our business registry. Now, with our business registry, you're actually able to go in and self-certify as well. And if you qualify, as I stated, you meet our criteria previously stated, whereas you 51% low income, or you employ 30%, or you subcontract 25%, we're able to utilize our Section 3 database here. And basically what we do is, if contractors or subcontractors, or you're looking to meet various percentages and build relationships, you would utilize our Section 3 directory here. We use North American industry codes to basically do the services. So as services, we categorize your services with that, meaning that if you do construction, you do concrete, you do carpentry, we'll give you an industry code that meets that particular heading or service that you particularly provide. All right, so we actually have some curios back here today. You're able to do that if you have your tax ID and your EIN with you and you meet those qualifications. But Gabe, what does this mean for me as a Section 3 business, as a business owner? This means for contracting, when we contract with anyone and they identify a need to hire or subcontract on a project, excluding commodities, Section 3 is triggered. By adding yourself as a Section 3 business, you now make yourself available for future partnerships and business opportunities through contracting. For businesses seeking residents for employment, you're able to work with a Section 3 coordinator to locate qualified individuals who are seeking employment. So as I start to get people to come to me and say, hey, I'm looking for these jobs, I have a resume, where can I send it? Currently, I take your resume, I house these resumes in databases, and as people start to look for various opportunities, we sometimes are able to fill people in various directions as it relates to that, and then the company is able to actually call people and interview, and then we've had a lot of luck with people being hired on for various contracts. But wait, there's more. The Housing Authority has operated an EBE program, or Emerging Business Enterprise Program, since 1998. The EBE program creates business opportunities for federally targeted groups of minority and women-owned enterprises, M or WBEs, by creating a contracting process that includes prime contractors as partners in the growth and development of minority and women business enterprises. This strategy has enabled HACM to meet or exceed its 20% EBE annual goal. The differences between both Section 3 and EBE. So, the certification. As I stated, Section 3 is a HUD federal self-certification. You are self-certifying that you meet this criteria, whereas with the Emerging Business Enterprise is a state certification by the Wisconsin Department of Administration. You fill out their application, you submit it, they review it takes 30 days, and then they present you with a certificate saying that you are now this particular business enterprise. For goals in hiring, our goals for hiring are, for Section 3, 30% of all hires must be Section 3 residents, whereas EBE has no hiring goals attached to it. Our goals for subcontracting, 10% construction, 3% professional services, and as I told you, commodities are not triggered. For EBE, it's 20% for both construction, professional services, and commodities, which are included in this. The certification term length both last 3 years. Program specifications, we are for Section 3. Section 3 is low income, and it is race and gender neutral, whereas EBE is minority and women business, is race-based and gender specific. And then Section 3, we do not accept any other certifications, whereas for EBE, we do accept the MBE and WBE enterprise certifications for it. For additional information and inquiries, please call me. You know, I'm the Section 3 coordinator for the Housing Authority. I'm very available. I'm willing to work with you to help you find qualified staff. I'm willing to work with you to help you find businesses to subcontract or contract with. Just please, you may utilize me as a resource. What I didn't touch on briefly is we have a Section 3 plan. And our Section 3 plan here is included in all bids, all bid documents. And basically, this is your outline and your commitment to it. So it is a very long document. I suggest if you have a lot of free time, you can read it on the front end. But our pertinent documents start on page 22, and it starts with our Section 3 clause. Now, I'm going to open it up to any questions at this time.
Gabe, I have a question about the EBE certification.
Of course.
Do you have to first be an MBE or a WBE before you could even qualify to be an EBE for the city?
Okay, now the city of Milwaukee operates in a small business enterprise certification, but for SBE, so SBE. So for various WIDA projects that we utilize, we use the Department of the state of Wisconsin Department of Administration's website, and we are only able to accept minority, women, and then sometimes veteran-owned businesses to make up that WIDA percentage and target goal that we utilize on various WIDA projects.
So the EBE is just Housing Authority in Trevaux?
For the most part. But it is operated, for the sake of this conversation, let's say it is.
And if I want to be an EBE contractor for Housing Authority or Trevaux, I've got to first get an MBE or or a W?
You would go through the designation with the state.
The state.
Yes, and that's just what we accept as it relates to those goals and percentages for WIDA projects that we utilize.
All right, and then, so I do that, I get that certification, and then I come to your program and apply for.
You actually, we actually just accept it. So as you fill out our bid documents and go through our bid documents, we'll ask you, are you an EBE business to meet the compliance requirements that are associated with it? And if that is on that particular project.
All right, and then, so for the state of Wisconsin, for MBE and WBE, you're gonna go through the joint cert program?
Yes, you
at
would.
the county?
Yes, you would do that, but we only utilize the states, so that's the big thing. So the county would be separate, okay? So for SBE, we wouldn't utilize for various WIDA projects, okay? We go to the state of Wisconsin's directory for that. So in order to utilize that particular percentage for EBE projects, yes, you would have to go get certified through the state of Wisconsin's DOA. And then, the state of Wisconsin, after you get certified, that rolls back into that joint certification process for the county, because the county basically accepts almost everything.
Right, they share that.
Yep, they share.
And then, what about if you're like an 8A SBE certified program, is that recognized at all?
No.
That's not?
Nope.
That's something separate?
Nope, that's a total different government designation. Do it with that 8A certification. It's a federal certification.
Okay.
Right. Any other?
I
No, I
wanna
totally understand. I'm throwing a lot at you, so that's why I'm standing here to answer you. All right. Any other questions? Okay, now just jumping back to this, our Section 3 plan. Our pertinent documents typically start on page 2122 with our Section 3 acknowledgement explaining, I acknowledge Section 3 and I will adhere to these particular qualifications as it relates to this. From there we have, let me open this up. And I've included some copies of it in the back, and also the flash drives that you have the Section 3 plan on it, okay? And also, you know what, let me make it simple. I'll pull it up. All right. So this is our Section 3 clause right here. It acknowledges, it basically states all the HUD regulations attached to it, attached with the 24 CFR Part 135. And at the bottom, you self-certify by stating your business name, your address, and you print your name, you sign and date. All right. Next is for our Section 3 business concerns. This is our self-certification form. This is where I talk about your commitment. This, as I stated, this also goes in our bid documents. Our criteria for businesses, 51%. I don't know if you can read that, I'll read it for you. 51% or more of your business is owned by Section 3 resident or residents. 30% or more of your permanent or full-time residents are Section 3. And then that subcontracting commitment is the third box. So you would identify under the business criteria which one it is, or you would realize at this point in time that, hey, my business is not a Section 3 business, and you would check that box. You fill out the bottom portion of it, and then you return those documents to me.
And is that submitted with the bid?
It can be submitted prior to, actually.
Okay.
But typically, it comes across my desk around the time we start to award contracts or prior to people submitting bids. So, and then even after the fact that we contract with you, because we do have some some purchase orders, which we do open blanket purchase orders for, in some emergency situations, we may end up having to try to get those businesses to be Section 3 businesses as well if we're contracting them, so we can utilize those.
If a company wants to have more Section 3 residents to employ them,
Mm-hmm.
do they reach out to you, Gabe, and you can connect them up to the?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, that would, I suggest, be the best way to do it, because I typically work a lot with them.
Okay. Cool.
And we do a lot of job postings and we do a lot of outreach as it relates to them on a daily basis. So let's say we have different career fairs, job opportunities, or just anything in general, positions that we know that are coming open, we shoot those directly to our residents, directly from our Section 3 database. Any other questions? All right. So as I stated, on your flash drives, we provide you with these documents as well. Just to kind of show through it, we do a compliance and action plan in our Section 3 documents as well. where you would identify your subs and is there Section 3, the percent that you're subcontracting. Then we look at our hiring needs and our workforce plan. If you have any of those, we work with you to kind of fill those. I'll scroll down just to kind of give you a better glimpse of it. So you list the trades, the type of people that you would need, the number, and then from there, you'd work with me and we try to meet those hiring needs. Outreach as it relates to that, assurance, and then our resident certification. So on this particular one, I'm going to highlight this. You would identify the individual, and as I talked about that, they talk whether or not they're currently a voucher holder or a resident of public housing. And then if not, we talk about our 4-county area that we have, our Quad County area of low and very low income people. And as I previously stated, it breaks down here with our tier, with the income guidelines here. And if they meet these, they would, in essence, either circle where they meet it, or when you scroll down, you actually have the opportunity to check all that apply. I'm either a public housing resident that live here, I'm a Section 8 resident, or I live in the Quad County area, and my total annual income is this with these individuals living in my household. You go on to fulfill up the bottom up, you sign and submit, and then we have some compliance and reporting stuff here. So, also, we have a RAD presentation going on. RAD is going to be the next thing that we'll be rolling out as it relates to more than likely Section 3. Basically, it's a rental assistance development program, demonstration, right? That's it, right? Okay, demonstration program. And in essence, it's us rehabbing our own buildings. And from there, we would contract directly with businesses to help utilize that process while utilizing Section 3. So that's kind of what's coming down. So if you have any information, if you want any additional information, you can pop into the RAD presentation, which will be going on today as well. I would like to thank you all for coming, and I have business cards in the back if you have any questions about anything, and that's all I got.